family. So I decided to jump on this morning. There's lots of beautiful energies moving through. I just watched Avatar with some soul family last night. Definitely started all these activations happening, and also then just watching the energies that seem to be really alive right now. And so I want to talk to this power of manifestation that has so much information out there, quite honestly. And for me and my truth, I feel like a lot of it is erroneous because it comes from a place of being in the shadow, of being in the ego, of trying to manifest um, a materialistic item often, or a partner, or something that's coming from a place where there's actually something missing within you, which ends up being created, if it does come to fruition, on a foundation of fear. And anything that's ever begun from that type of energy will always crumble. So if you truly want to come into your power, everything has to be built from a foundation of love. It has to come from a place where you are so anchored actually in your higher self, in what you are here to serve, what your genius and what your gift is here to bring. Because when you start making and moving and creating from that frequency, very different results will come to fruition. You know, I see that when we're manifesting or trying to manifest from that lower realm, it's almost like a black magic. It's almost like you're putting out actually more karmic ties that at some point you'll have to come and unravel. So, how do we come from a place of empowerment, of a place pure of heart, where we're actually here to be in service and to allow our vessel to be a container for divine energy, for God energy to flow through, so that we can create through these bodies that's something that's actually in service to all in the collective. And I've been playing with these, powers of manifestation, and especially within this matrix that we're all kind of indoctrinated into. What I'm seeing is that there's so many distortions that we've held within us, whether it be this lifetime or whether it be ancestral distortions that are within our DNA that actually need to be unwound, like knots that you actually have to unwind so that they can open up, so that the energy or the light information can flow freely through them again. It comes from a place of being so centered in this place of like your divine gifts and genius, that it's almost like there's no mind, or no ego mind, I should say, that is in any way trying to use an energy of force, right? So if you feel into manifestation, oftentimes there's this underlying energy of force when you're trying to actually create something that is in service to self, or that could possibly inhibit the free will of another, which is why that's called black magic. You never want to do any kind of energy output from yourself or magic that will in any way really cast an energy of having a person make any kind of decision based on you sending them energy. I hope that makes sense. So when we come to a place of absolute purity in our heart, and we have to begin to feel into the foundation of our why and our intention, and how do we then see energetically first how this whole thing that we're going to manifest, this whole vision that we want to manifest in the container of this form from the higher realms of energy, how do we, one, bring it down into form, and then how do we see the energy weaving its way to bring about almost like a condensation of this um, vibration of energy and actually contain it into a form that can be received by the many that will actually serve to uplift and uprise. And this is kind of a fundamental, in my seeing, in my opinion, a fundamental part of creation. When you're coming from that place that is so pure and that is in divine service to the many, you become a much powerful being for energy to manifest through. Because there's no service to self, there's no distortions in that field. So we have to get crystal clear of any time that we are wanting to create something that is self-serving. And so you have to begin to be radically honest with yourself in that field. And once you do, I just want to say, like, once we find that core stability, we are so connected to higher self and what our divine destiny is here to actually be in service to unfolding, then we become extremely powerful in our ability to create. You see, when we're creating in service to something else, it's like the power of all of the forces of the universe kind of converge within us, because we're creating out of this absolute abundance of love and wanting to see a new way. It's like we are creating as the God's being that we are. And every other energy that is magnetized to us is equally as powerful as that. This takes a tremendous amount of getting out of our own way, of getting out of our own shadows, our limitations, our boundaries, and really devoting ourselves to this bigger picture of why we're here. And it comes from this place of just unbelievable love. Like, you are in service to all life, all humanity, in service to Gaia, every consciousness. And when you're in service to that, what begins to happen is your consciousness does begin to merge with the all, or the one, in unity. And from that place, you see almost like what I would call like your divine part of the puzzle, what your individual self in this experience is actually here to create as part of weaving with the whole. And so when we come to abide in that energetic frequency, in that realm, it actually becomes quite easy. And we can actually be in this realm a lot of the time and still be experiencing our humanness, our suffering, our obstacles, our challenges. And it really does kind of happen simultaneously, where there's this sense of being in two worlds at once. And this is where a great number of people are right now. And it's actually a really beautiful place to be. Because what we're being presented with is like nuance right now. So the nuances that I'm feeling in the field for myself and many others are around the subject of, one, money, self-worth, which go together. Your wealth is your worth. So you can't be wealthy and have no self-worth unless you're using dark magic. So wealth and worth, and especially being our authentic self, our own self-assurance, to actually believe in these vast cosmic royal beings that we are. Because of the conditioning that we've had, because of the distortions we carry, even when we get those deep insights of our own divinity, the mind comes in to kind of begin to make us small again, because it's, for so many of us, there's almost like a disbelief that we can be that grand and that majestic. And so what begins to happen is every little belief that you have begins to arise to show you where you're still playing in that small field, where you're still in that belief construct that you're only this small little human being. And it's such an immense gift when that happens, because then you're actually being able to bring awareness and pinpoint those spaces within where you are limiting yourself, where you are playing small, and you can begin to extract them. You can begin to step into your most authentic self, which is boundless. And this is happening rapidly, and you can also take baby steps. And it's about stepping into the moments of discomfort and breaking the patterns and actually doing it differently. So breaking a pattern in a moment and showing up as your authentic self in how you're feeling, in your actions, in what you're doing, and how you're being, and how you're showing up for another. Every pattern breaking moment is a choice point to step into a higher version of yourself. You know, the words that come through is another opportunity to claim your throne. Claim your throne. To sit in the throne of your own magnificence and power without giving one iota over to another, without placing anyone on a pedestal above you, without comparing yourself to anyone else and where they're at. That is part of almost like this infiltration that we have been subjected to, especially like in our media and in our education, to keep us small. And when we can shift that and actually see those that we look up to in their true light, what resonates for you in somebody that you look up to is a quality of energy that you carry inside yourself. That's why there's that resonance and that coherence there, because that is part of who you are. And you're recognizing that part of you when you look to that other. But what happens is we unconsciously give our power to that other, thinking that that is not us, but the thought is, I want to be more like that or them or have what they have. But if we can actually shift that and let it become a celebratory moment of being like, I see this beauty and this power and this being who has really moved into embodiment of their divine self. And I can only see that because I too am that. And then take a moment to fully receive the energy that you are witnessing in a perceived other and actually feel it ignited in yourself in real time. You will burn away those old karmic imprints of unworthiness, of not enough, of lack, of fear, of jealousy. It takes unbelievable presence in every moment and how you're showing up and what is being reflected to you. If you can get so present with every moment, you'll see that every single part of life is speaking to you and showing you in every moment exactly what your purpose is in this now. So pay attention. I've said this before. Your greatest currency is where you're paying your attention to. And as soon as you start to take your attention back, you are actually building and creating your wealth within. And when you're building and creating that wealth within, that worth within, it will show up as a reflection outside of you in ways that you can't fathom. This is not ever about figuring it out with the mind. This is really about stepping in to your inner eye, your inner will, thy will, divine will, solar plexus, and inner eye, inner seeing, and connecting them in the great center, which is your heart portal, which is the cauldron where that spark of divine is in within you, and beginning to open up every place that you have closed yourself off or made yourself small. This is your inner throne. And so I want to come back to what it is to be present. To be present is to be with every single breath, is to slow way down. Most humans are just moving way too quickly. In order to hear nuance, in order to feel subtlety, you have to be slow. You have to be connected to your inhale and your exhale, and don't get distracted. Everyone is distracted, and it's the greatest reason why people are not empowered is distraction. And so when you're connected to that breath, there is a sensation of everything slowing down. And as you inhale, it's like you are taking all life within you. You are the receptacle vessel for everything you're calling forth. Abundance, love, prosperity, compassion. Can you breathe in and let yourself be that receptacle vessel, that holy grail for everything that you're calling in? You can't see it outside of you until you're embodying it. You have to be it to see it. And when you begin to embody it within you, you're living in that energetic vibration. And then you're a magnet for that and for creating that in form. But you're already holding that resonance. So you're already existing in that alternate reality. And you're actually magnetizing that reality into this now. And you're doing it for all beings because you're intimately connected to your divine self, which is connected to everything and everyone. And so then we shift the collective field and we make that available for all beings. And in doing that, we shift everything. So when you're breathing in and fully becoming that vessel for receptivity of divine source self, claiming its throne and all its divinity, we allow ourselves to drop in so deeply to what that is. And it's not something that can actually be explained with words. It's so far and so vast beyond that. And so just let yourself feel what that is for you, because it will be unique for every being, as we all hold different codes within our DNA that will be ignited by this practice. And then when you exhale, it is a complete surrender, a letting go. It's like a death. It's like you let go of your identity and everything that it thinks it wants, and everything in this reality that is really tethering it to a really fixed idea of who you are. You let it all go. There is no fixed, there is no limit, and there is no boundary. It's like you've got to get out of your own head. You've got to let go and feel the infinite that is actually available to you. And this is, we do it with the breath, first of all. And then when you're connected to that breath, the challenge is to stay with it, no matter what else is happening around you. Can you be aware of every breath? Can you connect to the technology that is this body and its nervous system, autonomic nervous system, that does all these functions that we're unaware of? And can you take control of the mothership that is your body? Can you sit at the controls of this body technology and actually take it off cruise control and begin to steer the ship? Because when you do that, then you begin to touch in to, again, that infinite fathomless realm of what these bodies are actually capable of that is beyond limits. The breath, the connecting to all of the minute workings of this body, and then connecting to the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of Gaia. When you connect your heart to the heartbeat of Gaia, what happens is everything slows down. You come into this timeless portal where it's really hard to find words to explain this. Where every realm, the Akashic field, the morphogenic field is actually available to you. And when that's actually available to you, what happens is you have the complete access. It's like you found the password into every single doorway of every single reality that exists. And to explain to people that everything that you've ever imagined is a possibility and a realm of creation that actually exists. So take that in for a moment. I think I'm going to save the rest of this for an additional video, because I think right now just connecting to what I've said is paramount. So breath, inhale, be the receptacle, receiver, vessel. Exhale, let go and surrender. Come into resonance with the pace and the heartbeat of Gaia, Mother Earth, slowing way down and listening to every moment around you, whether it's the rustling of the wind in the trees, whether it's a bird going by, or whether it's a word that you hear on a radio or something somebody says or a conversation that you overhear, and see it, sense it, feel it, as if that is absolutely the most perfect words that you could have heard, that it was perfectly orchestrated for you to hear that, sense that, feel that in this now moment, and that it is part of your unraveling and part of your stepping forth into your divinity. As if every moment is a breadcrumb leading you closer and closer back to your own divine self. And that is true for every perceived other, and every perceived other as part of the grand play of this reality that you have constructed. This is the web. And everything is as it should be in every moment. And can you radiate an immense amount of love from that place? Take back your throne. Take back your power. Because when each one of us does that, each one of us first will begin to dissolve. And we'll know that viscerally. And not only does each one of us dissolve, but the way that we've seen the duality, the dark and the light, the polarity of this world also dissolves. Because our darkness has always been there to awaken us. It's served its purpose, and when it's served its purpose, it no longer needs to exist. When we all have the reclamation of that throne within our own hearts, and we're all sitting in full reclamation of it, all darkness will disappear, because the divine won't want to create that anymore. The divine is going to want to sit back in its throne of love and divine will and omniscience and ecstasy and delight and play. And so know that you are actually in a divine comedy. So laugh and don't take things so seriously. And at the same time, unravel everything that is keeping you tethered to this old way of being. Power in that is infinite, and it ripples out. It ripples out farther than you can even conceive of with the mind. And this is the beginning to how we change things and begin to play in a whole different realm of manifestation. I love you. Thank you for watching. Let me know your experience when you try this or if you're actually doing it already. And if you are, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel it. With deep love, deep reverence, deep prayer, honoring all of you brothers and sisters, holding you in my heart to heart, hand in hand, we all rise together. I love you.